All right, violin accessories. One of the main things is having a decent case. Here's a case here. Often they're what's called featherweight. My dad was an upholsterer, so I love to take things apart and see how they work. And these cases, they're usually very nice, velour on the inside or something. I had to take one apart to do something else with it, and I realized all it is styrofoam. For the most part, it's just styrofoam with maybe a piece of thin wood along here to be able to screw the handle in. This one doesn't even have a handle. The handle is just cloth. So usually there's some kind of molded styrofoam. That's why they're so light. And they do the job. Your violin will hold in there. If it gets dropped or something, it's not going to damage it. It's a little bit of padding. More expensive cases have finer stuff, but they also might be heavier. There's some cases out there that are made out of carbon fiber and Kevlar and stuff. They're quite expensive, maybe $500 for a case. If you can get really fancy, they get up to be $2,500 for a really nice case. I wouldn't worry about it if you're a beginner. One of these cases is fine. You can look and see if they got pockets to hold stuff. There's a little pocket in here. There might be some stuff in there in this violin. Let's see what's in here. A strap. It might come with a strap so you can slide it over your shoulders. Rosin. Your rosin will stay in there. And any other things like that. So, some instruments will come with multiple bows, the 2 bows. That's a nice perk because one time I was playing and I was singing at the same time and the bow hit the microphone and the hair flew off. So I was holding the stick with the hair flopping. So I just grabbed another bow. It's good to have a second bow just in case. So let's see what else. Chin rests. As I showed in another video, this is my main acoustic violin and it has a fairly rare, me and Jean-Luc Ponty both have one of these. I don't know, my sister found it for me. It's acrylic. It's pretty rare to see a clear one. I know the same company made clear tuning pegs too. I've only seen those on Jean-Luc's instrument. Usually it's either some kind of bakelite or plastic, or a fine instrument would be ebony or boxwood, and nicer woods they carve. Sometimes it's a part that goes out and over the tailpiece. Sometimes it's just a little more of an oval over here. There's many different things, and you can take these on and off. They have a turnbuckle style thing. You just stick a little tool in there to unscrew them and take it off and put the next one on. If your chin rest isn't comfortable for you, digging into your jawbone or something, if you look online, there's dozens of different shapes and materials and colors. There's even foam covers you can get for them. I have one. I think it's a wolf. It's like a faux suede in a cradle. It's got like a frame, so the suede kind of bends to and forms to you. I kind of like that one. It's a little bit smelly after these years got mildewed, but I think I could wash it too. Maybe I'll put it in the wash machine. So there's many different chin rests. There's also shoulder rests. There's dozens of these on the market. This was the favorite of mine for a long time. It was the Bon Musica. I think it's made in Denmark or something, I think. And it's very industrial. It's metal and it can be bent. It's got this special fin that kind of hooks on your shoulder here. I kind of like that. It kind of helps me hold it right there. I've heard players say, oh, I tried a dozen different shoulder rests and finally found the one that fits my body. So it's a very personalized thing. I recommend the students to get the Everest. Do I have one here? Here's one right here. The Everest is right now my personal favorite for low dollar. It's about the $15 mark. Everest, like Mount Everest. The thing about shoulder rests, these plastic ones, they're very cheap. Kuhn makes a decent one and some other companies. It's all about the feet. The feet often are a piece of plastic with some surgical tubing just kind of slipped over it. The surgical tubing rips after a while, and then the plastic or metal feet are kind of digging into the wood in your violin. They don't last forever. I have a problem with this. This Everest is a molded piece of foot, very substantial. It sticks to the violin, doesn't fall off. I've had shoulder rests in the heat of a battle, doing a solo, and the shoulder rest falls, and I have to kind of finish the solo without distracting. Without the shoulders, it falls on the floor or something. The audience is looking at you. So I think this is a great one. It's built like a tank as far as the cheap, under $20 molded plastic ones. There's others out there. They come in fancy colors, purple and green and pink and all this stuff. If you have a young one, it's really into that. There is some on the market that are made out of wood, nice wood, carved, maple and stuff. Those are cool. They're more expensive, maybe $50 or $60. They all do the same thing. What it does is if you have a long neck like me, if you have a short neck and you're heavy set and a lot of padding here, you might not need a shoulder rest, although I don't know why anybody would play without one personally, because it has the back of the violin vibrate. If the back is on your clothing, it dulls the sound down. Now, I can't say that I'm firm in that because Itzhak Perlman plays his Stradivarius and doesn't use a shoulder rest, and it's against his clothing. He sounds pretty good to me. But I know mine, if I clamp down and the instrument is on my clothing, it's less sound than when I have a shoulder rest down, it's a more open sound. So I think these are important. They're good for your health of your neck, so you don't have to go to the chiropractor as much because you're not clamping down. So very much you just, especially if you got a long neck, they can be adjusted up or down to fit you. You just pretty much relax your neck muscles, and the chin rest and the shoulder rest and everything kind of holds it up there. It's like no hands. So that's an important accessory. I highly recommend one so you don't have to pay more than this is worth to go to the chiropractor and have your neck cracked. Tailpieces. People don't think of this as an accessory, but tailpiece is the only piece of the violin that doesn't touch the violin. It's true. So if you could see this here, the tailpiece has a hanger, which is important, by the way. I forgot to say this in the used violin video. If that hanger material is old school gut, they call it, or imitation gut, that can dry rot. If the violin's been sitting around a long time, that can snap, and all the string pressure is attached to the tailpiece, which is held by on this end button by that hanger. My own sister, which I've mentioned a couple times now, she was playing in the symphony, and the hanger snapped. All the strings went flying off her instrument in the middle of the concert. Plack! Made a sound. She had to kind of find somebody who had a spare one, and she kind of fixed it in an intermission and was able to finish the concert. But that's very unlikely that would ever happen. Today, they're heavy-duty plastic and very tight, very tough. So, but back to the tailpiece. The tailpiece can be swapped out because it's the only thing that doesn't really touch the violin. It's just hanging in the air. The strings pull it, and it's attached to this button down here. And the tailpiece itself doesn't touch, just the hanger does. The rope or the metal wire you might see in some violins. This particular one is carbon fiber. I made it. I made a mold of it, and I put this nice big piece of amber, and I sunk that in there and inlaid it. So there's that kind of thing. I was going to make a business out of that and just never made the front burner for me. But I've had this one on here about 10 years now, and it works great. So I have a bin of tailpieces. I can swap them out on different instruments. It's not a big deal. So tailpieces, chin rests, a case, a shoulder rest. I think that covers the general accessories on the violin, besides changing out the pegs, which I've mentioned. Old school pegs are just sticks jammed in a hole, basically. Hopefully a perfectly fitted stick to a perfectly matching hole, and they'll stay in there nice. As long as you push them in, they'll stay in tune, and they might have to adjust them seasonally. I have on this violin the Nilling planetary tuners, which I added later and more recently, maybe about 10 years ago, and I love them. This part is separate from this main body, which is screwed into the wood more or less permanently, and the inner part in here spins slower than this part. It's about a 4-to-1 ratio. It's kind of like a guitar tuner then, but it fits perfectly like a violin, doesn't look any different, and it's the same weight, doesn't add weight to it. So I love them because you can tune on the fly while you're playing, and you can even maybe be part of the song. If you're old school, old time fiddler, you do weird tunings. It takes nothing. You can change tuning while you're playing. It's wonderful. So I think every violin should have those. Personally, that's some accessories. Those cost, maybe $100 or $200 to have a qualified technician add to your violin. Maybe get them cheaper. But that's a nice addition. So there's a bunch of accessory talk.